Welcome to the Movie Cheer Podcast. I am your host, AP, aka Mr. Movie Cheer. And on today's episode, it will be a WrestleMania 38 movie special episode. What does that mean? Well, I'm going to be going through WrestleMania 38, the card, and of the two nights of WrestleMania, and give you my predictions and thoughts on the matches. And I'm also going to be discussing four wrestlers featured movies as well. So it's going to be four movies that feature wrestlers in each of those movies as well, as it is a movie show. Why am I doing this? I will say I'm a huge wrestling fan. I think movies and wrestling are kind of like my two biggest things, and I feel like wrestling, I feel like they cross the same lines. The storytelling, it's entertainment, it's action. Both of them really offer a lot for me as a fan of movies and a fan of wrestling. I feel like they both kind of cross paths a lot. And obviously we see a lot of wrestlers going into Hollywood and to acting in general, which is always cool to see as a wrestling fan. So it's going to be a fun show. Did this show last year as well. Really enjoyed doing it then. And I thought, let's do this as a regular event now, do a WrestleMania show each and every year. And it's just fun. It's fun to deep dive into the predictions of the wrestling, and also to look at some wrestling featured movies, wrestler featured movies. That's what I'm trying to say each time. So it's going to be a fun-packed show, and as always, there will be all of the regular segments of the Movie Cheer Pod involved in today's show. So it's going to be a really fun one, as always. I hope so, anyway. But before we get to today's headline topic of the WrestleMania 38 movie special, each and every show, each and every week, I do a segment of the show called Not So Worthy Blockbuster Housekeeping. This is the part of the show where I kind of like ease into things with the topic of discussion, and it's just really a part of the show where I discuss what's going on with the community, with the channel, and it's just a general easing in chit-chat for the rest of the show. So, Not So Worthy Blockbuster Housekeeping for this week. What is going on? What's going down? Hope you're all sitting tight and having a nice day, as always. But what's going on with the channel? Last week was the pay-per-view show. If you weren't around, if you didn't watch it live, you didn't catch the replay, last week, every 3 months on the channel, it is a pay-per-view show. In the past, I've done quizzes, special videos, short films. This was the first time to do... I had a special guest co-host on. Shaun, aka Media Collector Madness, was the special guest co-host for that episode for Clash of the Movie Sequels. We did an episode together, me and Shaun, where we had like a mini movie tournament on the episode, judging the best movie sequel. It's like an hour and 40 minutes, the show. Gotta say, I had an absolute blast doing that video. It was awesome. I had a lot of fun. I had a great time chatting to Shaun, chatting to people in the live chat as well, and it was so much fun. And I just want to say a big thank you to Shaun again, Media Collector Madness, for coming on the show last week. And I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's watched that episode as well. I really do appreciate you checking it out. Great show. I hope that we'll have Shaun on the channel again at some point, because I think he's an awesome guy. He's a good friend of mine now. Both wrestling fans as well. So check out Shaun's channel. I'm going to link it in below again. Check out that video if you've not checked out as well. But yeah, awesome chat with Shaun. I really enjoyed it last week. It was really fun to discuss movies with someone else, and over an hour, which I really enjoy. I thought it was absolute. I had a blast doing it. Honestly, it was really fun, and there will definitely be more of these. I think every 3 months now, like I said, we do these pay-per-view shows. The 6th and the 9th and the 12th month of the year will be the upcoming ones after obviously this past one. So it's gonna, I think, similar vibe. I'm thinking do more of these live chats with other channels, with other movie fans. I think do like a themed episode again. I've got a few little ideas for the next one, so I'm sure something will be planned, and I can't wait to see what comes up. But yeah, it was really fun. I thought it was a great show last week. I really enjoyed it. Let's move on to the latest video on the channel, on the Movie Cheer Pod channel this week on YouTube. Latest video was remakes in my movie collection, best remakes in my movie collection. So I was looking at the collection behind me and discussing some of my favourite remakes. Out of those, I had six movies in that video, 6 choices. And what was really cool about that video is, again, it feels like the community is really it feels like a really community spirit over the past week, even more so than normal. Having more input, I mean, with the video content as well, especially, and even maybe even over the past couple of weeks, really, we had Mark recommending some movie variant Showdown recommendations, Shaun featuring last week on the show, another Movie Cheertown community member of the community here, and we had Paul, also known as Subbillion on YouTube, another community member. We were discussing the other day, and we were just discussing, having a little chat about movies and reboots and remakes, and he was asking what are my favourite remakes in the collection, and it just sparked the idea, let's go for a video on it. So Paul recommended, that was really come from Paul's idea of discussing that in the comments, and that's what I like about this community here. I love that when it's like a little spark from a comment and it's a video, and that came from the community, and that came from Paul, that video. And so big thanks to Paul for the inspiration for that video, and for really being the sort of the spark behind that video. So big thanks to Paul. That was a really fun one to do as well. What else is going on in Not So Worthy Blockbuster Housekeeping this week? I will say, I mentioned it last week and I think a few weeks back, but this will be the last video for 2 weeks now, so I'm going to be taking a 2-week break. This will be a 2-week break from doing the podcast, from doing the Thursday episodes as well. I'm just taking a complete rest from YouTube. No particular reason. I'm going to be doing these throughout the year, every 3 months after the pay-per-view shows, probably. The only reason I came back this week is because I wanted to do the WrestleMania show so much. I love doing this WrestleMania show, so I thought, let's delay the 2-week break for a week, and after today's show, I'm going to be taking that little short break. I'm not burnt out, nothing like that. Nothing. I'm not going on holiday or anything. I'm just taking a little break from YouTube. I think it's good to just take these little breaks throughout the year. Keeps me feeling energized, and just really gives me time to think up more ideas, really, for more videos and stuff like that. So I'm going to be taking a 2-week break. So don't think I'm going to be not coming back. I will be coming back. I believe it'll be, the return date will be the 23rd of April. That is when the Movie Cheer podcast will be returning, and it's not going anywhere. It's just taking a little break. That's all. So I can't wait to return. I don't know what the topic of discussion will be, but I'm sure something will turn up, and there'll be a movie topic of some sort for that episode. So I'm looking forward to the break, but I'm also looking forward equally to coming back and pouncing on a new topic of discussion. It'll be fun. What else has been going on? Last thing, Patreon this past week. It was a TV commentary tapes audio episode where I was watching the first episode of the Tintin animated show. I believe it was released in 1992. Really good show, the Tintin, and I was just doing an audio commentary on that. I've done a few of them now. I've batched a few as well. So there's a few now. I'm doing one of those like roughly once a month now. The content is very varied on the Patreon. As I always say with the Patreon, all support is appreciated, but don't feel like you had to sign up. Don't feel it's just extra content. If you enjoy the content here on the Movie Cheer Pod, maybe for an extra $1 a month, you want to get a bit more content. It's there for you anytime. You can come back into. There's no, you don't have to stay forever. It's there anyway. But I thought I'd just mention that, the latest bit of content on Patreon for this past week. But anyway, that is the Not So Worthy Blockbuster Housekeeping over for today's show. Let's move on with the headline topic. So the headline topic, the WrestleMania 38 card. That's what we're going to start off with before we get to the movie topic of the 4 movies featuring wrestlers. So the headline, well, first let's go for night 1. Filmed this on Friday. on the Friday before WrestleMania. So it's WrestleMania tomorrow, the Saturday. I'm filming it on the Friday, so SmackDown has not taken place as of yet. So I mean, this card is subject to change. This is the card I got off Wikipedia. So this is the current updated card. It may change. So obviously, if something changes tomorrow, or there's an injury for some reason, or there's some sort of mad like quick change. Obviously, these are the predictions from this point in time. So let's go for it anyway. Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair, not Belair. Bianca Belair. Bianca Belair. I think I'm still getting that wrong. The Raw Women's Championship. I have got to say it has got to go. I think, even though I think Bianca Belair would be an awesome WrestleMania moment, I just think to build up that heel of Becky Lynch even more so, I'd have Becky Lynch winning it. I know it would be a great moment for Bianca to win, but I think Becky Lynch. I really do think she's going to win it. I think she's going to win that match. Next up, we have Rey and Dominic Mysterio versus The Miz and Logan Paul, the celebrity. Logan Paul, the YouTuber. I'll be honest with you, I think I said it on last year's show when they had Bad Bunny featuring. And I had no idea who Bad Bunny is, this musician. I still don't really know. I haven't any idea who he is. But he was featuring in like a tag team match. They do it. They've got another one night too. They've got another celebrity. I'll mention that in a second. I'm not a big fan of bringing these celebrities in. I watched that video back, the one from last year, and I kind of went a bit hard on Bad Bunny. And it's not because I have any dislike to Bad Bunny. I don't know who the guy is. I don't know his music. I think just in general, I'm not a big fan of these. Bring in a celebrity, bring in this name because they're a big name, they're going to get views. It's just not for me. I like seeing wrestlers wrestle, I don't like seeing these celebrities, and especially like people like Logan Paul. I don't really know his YouTube content, but from what I've seen of him, like I said, I've not really watched too much of him, but he just seems like a bit of a prat, and not really the sort of guy I'd want to watch a YouTube video of vlog of. So, look, I don't know him personally, but I don't think this is a match I'd be too bothered about watching. This is probably going to be one I'm going to be like, this is where I get a drink. This is where I go and get a cup of coffee, this match. I'm like, I'll keep it playing. I'll go and I'll go and get a coffee and get a biscuit. That'll be it for this match. For this match, though, I've got to go with the Mysterios. Rey Mysterio, he's awesome. Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio, they're going to be my winners for this match. Next up, Drew McIntyre. Drew McIntyre versus Happy Corbin. Who do we go with here? I'm going to go with Drew McIntyre. You can't not go for Drew over Happy Corbin is cool. I do like his gimmick. I think it's a really fun gimmick. I just like the cracking jokes, really bad jokes all the time. And he's just like filthy rich. But I do like Drew McIntyre. I hope he gets to win. I think he's much more... he would benefit more from having a win here, I feel like. So Drew McIntyre over Happy Corbin. Next up, it is the SmackDown Tag Team Championships. On the line, we have the Usos versus Shinsuke Nakamura and Rick Boogs. Who am I going to go for in this match? I cannot see past the Usos here. I feel like you've got I don't want to spoil my predictions for later on, but I think the Usos have been built up with Roman Reigns as these big time, real like strong contenders, strong champions. And I think if they drop the titles to Shinsuke and Rick Boogs, nothing against them. I think Shinsuke is awesome. Rick Boogs is really funny as well. But I think the Usos, it just builds more of the status as the best tag team if they get the win, and I think that's why you've got to give them the win in this match. I think the Usos are great. I think main event Jey Uso, it was awesome. I really like that when his brother was injured and he was taking on Roman Reigns. He was having some fantastic matches, and I really enjoy now the Usos as a tag team again. I think they've been probably one of the best tag teams over the past 10 years. They really have been phenomenal, great tag team. So they are my winners for that one, the Usos. Next match we move on to is another tag team match. We have the New Day, Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston versus Sheamus and Ridge Holland. and with Butch, aka Pete Dunne in the corner. What a name, Butch. I always think of Butch Stingle from Emmerdale when I hear that name. Let's see, Xavier and Kofi. I think just given the fact with what happened with Big E, he broke his neck. I think it would be a kind of a good feel-good moment if the New Day get the win here. So I've got to go with my boys, the New Day. You Day Rocks. You Day Rocks. I love the New Day. I think they're awesome. I love that entrance as well. They've got one of the best entrances. I'm not going to do it. Don't you dare be sour. Clap for your world-famous 5-time champs and feel the power. It's a new day. Yes, it is. I've done it. I've embarrassed myself. I don't care. You know what it's like. I got no shame. Yeah, I'm going to go with the New Day for that match. I'm looking forward to that one. I think it'll be a good one. I've always enjoyed Sheamus. I think Sheamus is awesome. Another favourite tag team of mine over the past couple of years was The Bar, Sheamus and Cesaro. I think that tag team was great. It felt like a weird combination of them two, but the entrance, they just looked like a tag team after a while, and they looked like a really, really great tag team. That is a tag team. I'm so gutted that Cesaro's left now, but I'm gutted that he'd never reteam them again to do The Bar again. I just don't know why, because it was so good. I love The Bar. I thought they were awesome. Anyway, next match, we have Seth Rollins versus a to-be-announced opponent that is going to be announced by Vince McMahon on the evening of WrestleMania Night 1. It is heavily rumoured to be Cody Rhodes returning to the WWE from AEW. I can't really look past it being him now. So if I'm going to say Seth Rollins versus Cody Rhodes, who is going to win that match? Look, it could be one of those where, Sting, the icon Sting, had his first WrestleMania match and he got beat by Triple H. Is this going to be a scenario where we think Cody is coming in and he does actually come in and he just gets absolutely buried because he's coming from the enemy, aka AEW? I'd be super disappointed if that was the case and then they just continue to bury Cody Rhodes then, but would it shock me? It would not shock me. So I'm going to kind of go with this. Seth Rollins gets the win over Cody Rhodes. Now, maybe it won't be a clean win. Maybe he cheats or someone interferes. But I'm going for Seth Rollins for the win. And I've thought long and hard about this. I just think, given the fact that I just think about that when Sting come in and he fought Triple H and he got beat. I think it's going to be a very similar scenario here. I really do. And I will be gutted if that is the case. I hope I'm wrong. I really do hope I'm wrong. But that's my prediction for that one. Imagine if it isn't him, though, and it's like Goldberg. I really enjoyed Goldberg back in the day, but he has been overused over the past few years, and I hope it isn't someone like Goldberg or Undertaker. I don't want to see them guys anymore. I want them to just, enjoy retirement and let the likes of Cody Rhodes come in and other up and coming wrestlers come in and showcase their abilities in the ring instead. Let's go for next up the last scheduled match for night 1. Charlotte Church. Charlotte Church. Why am I going to say Charlotte? She was a singer. Charlotte Church. Why am I saying that? I don't know why I'm saying that. Maybe it's tiredness. I had an early start this morning. Charlotte Flair. Charlotte Church. God. Charlotte Church wrestling. Wow. That'd be... I'm... Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I've got to say, this one has got to be Ronda Rousey. I think you're bringing her back into the fold. She's going to have a big WrestleMania moment. I really can't see past her winning this one. So Ronda Rousey for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I must say, I'm not really a big fan of Ronda Rousey. I think she's got zero character. I mean, maybe that is a character that she has got no character. Maybe that's the appeal. But I think I just don't think there's any likability to her. I'm sure she's probably a nice woman and a nice person, but I think as this this person wrestling, it's like she came in, she was kind of like a baby face, a good guy character. But she was kind of, for me, again, at the start of her career in WWE, she was unlikable. Just for me, I didn't click with her as a performer. And yeah, I think she will win, but she's not my favorite wrestler of all time. Definitely not. It's one I'll watch though, just out of intrigue. This match, I'm gonna watch all the card, apart from the Logan Paul match. That's when I'm gonna take the coffee break. But yeah, I will definitely watch it. But anyway, we get to one of the segments then of this show, and I believe it's meant to be on this show. It could be night 2. Again, like the card is subject to change. We have Stone Cold Steve Austin. That's right, Stone Cold Steve Austin, the Rattlesnake 316. What? Give me a hell yeah! He will be returning to have a face-off with Kevin Owens. Now, it's built up as like this face-to-face, but it's not being built up as a match. So it's kind of really vague. I'm so glad that they've not really built it as a full-on match, because this is again where I didn't want to see. I think Stone Cold was one of them guys, he's never going to come back in the ring. He's been retired for like 20 years now. And I was a big fan of him in the Attitude Era, massive Stone Cold fan. And I kind of just like the memories. And I don't want to tarnish the memories with him coming back and maybe not being as good as he was back in the day. Because he's going to be, obviously, he's 20 years gone. He's going to be a completely different guy in the ring. All I hope for this segment is he comes in, he does a few stunners to Kevin Owens, maybe throws a few punches, grabs a few beers, smashes a few beers in the crowd, and that's it. That's what I want. That's all I need from a Stone Cold segment for me to get a hell yeah, from me, and to get an absolute buzz as a wrestling fan. So that's all I want from that segment. Let's move on to night 2 now anyway. First we have night 2, Queen Zelina and Carmella versus Sasha Banks and Naomi versus Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan versus Natalya and Shayna Baszler for the Women's Tag Team Championships. Gotta say, I kind of not really invested in this. I kind of don't watch Raw and SmackDown as much these days anyway. I tend to just, with WWE anyway, I just watch the pay-per-views. AEW, I watch that week in, week out. But with this one, again, I'm not really yet invested. Gonna go for Rhea Ripley and Liv Morgan. I think they're the only tag team out of this bunch that I'm really would want to root for. So I'm going to go for them for the win on this one. Next up, we have Johnny Knoxville from the Jackass TV show and the movie. He will be taking on Sami Zayn in what they're calling an anything goes match. I don't know if that means a Falls Count Anywhere match or if it's a different meaning to it. I can imagine this is going to be a case where they're going to feature other people, and I could maybe see a wrestling legend come down, maybe some like a Mick Foley or someone like that comes down, someone of that ilk, and they start helping Johnny Knoxville to beat Sami Zayn. So I'm going to go for a Johnny Knoxville win on that match. Next up, we have Pat McAfee, the commentator on the Pat McAfee show host. He's obviously an announcer on SmackDown versus Austin Theory. Now, I think he's an awesome commentator, and I think, he did wrestling in NXT for a brief period with that feud with Adam Cole. I see why they brought him in for this match, again, because his show is really popular, and Pat McAfee as a name is really a big, credible name outside of the wrestling world as well, so I honestly understand why they brought him in for this match. Not a match that I'm super pumped about, though. If I was going to go for anyone, I think the fan favourite has got to be Pat McAfee because he's so popular, but I think it would be a shame to give him a win, a commentator a win over Austin Theory, who's this young up-and-coming guy who's probably going to be a world champion in the next year or two. So you've got to give it to Austin Theory, or it's either a Pat McAfee win and it's kind of like a cheap win. But yeah, I've got to go for Austin Theory in this one. It's definitely Austin Theory. I hope it's Austin Theory just because I want him to build up that guy as the next big WWE superstar. Next, we have RK Bro versus the Street Profits versus the Alpha Academy for the Raw Tag Team Championships. This is a match I am pumped for. 3 tag teams I really enjoy. Who's going to win? This is a toughie. This is a really tough one. Who really deserves a WrestleMania moment? I could see this being the end of Arcade Bro and they potentially go and feud after this. So maybe let's take Arcade Bro out of it because I think a feud between Orton and Riddle would be cool to see. I think I'm going to go with the Street Profits. I think they could do with the win. I think a WrestleMania moment for them would be a big deal. And I think, I think they deserve it. They're an awesome tag team. Also, American Alpha Academy are equally just as awesome. I think they're a great team, and I think I've really enjoyed what they've been doing over the past few months from the clips I've seen. They're good, but yeah, Street Profits for the win on this one. Next, we go to Edge versus AJ Styles. This is a match never taken place. This match, AJ Styles versus Edge. Who's going to win this match? I'm going to go with AJ Styles. I think Edge coming into this, he's the bad guy. He's, beating AJ up and a load. And I think AJ really needs a win here. So I'm going to go for an AJ win. Yeah, I think he deserves it. AJ Styles. That's going to be a great match, though, that one. I think it's going to be an awesome match. Next up, we have Lashley versus Omos. The Giant versus the Giant. Who's going to win this one? Again, it's kind of like Austin Theory. You've got this guy in Omos, who is really built up as this new upcoming superstar, and you have him, Lashley, this more of a veteran wrestler, come in and beat him. I think logically you'd say give Omos the win, but Lashley coming in, I do. Yeah, I'm going to go with Omos. I think it's going to be a bit of like I think it's going to be maybe a 5 or 10 minute match, but I could see Omos getting the win here, and maybe, just maybe, MVP turns on Lashley. Maybe that could be it, and he decides to manage Omos after this. That could be it. That's a good prediction. Next, we go to the final the final match of this card: Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns, the Tribal Chief. Who is going to win this match? It is the WWE Championship versus the Universal Championship. Winner takes all. I've really enjoyed Brock over the past few months. I think him coming back and just being this, just kind of like being his own personality, being himself on screen has been fantastic. I really enjoyed. I think he's just comedy gold. Roman is on fire now, and he's been on fire for the past 2 years. His head of the table gimmick, the Tribal Chief, has been what his character needed for years. Turning heel was the best thing for him. And in this match, though, I think you have to solidify him as the ultimate WWE superstar, the face of the brand, of the company. You got to go with Roman Reigns. I think it's going to be a great match, but Roman Reigns, for me, is going to pick up the win in this match. So now we've got the wrestling predictions, the matches out the way. Let's move on to the movie choices of today's show. And this is movies featuring wrestlers. I've got 4 choices. Let's go with them. First of all, I'm going to talk about a movie directed by John Carpenter called They Live, and it stars Rowdy Roddy Piper in. And this is a movie, 1988. This movie was released. It's a science fiction movie. Basically, the premise of the story is Piper's character. He's like this homeless guy coming to a new city, and basically he sees like some weird ongoings going on, and basically he then discovers these sunglasses that reveal in society aliens are living in our society, and they're basically running society. They are like the high society, and we're all basically being manipulated, and it's like him then trying to take down the obviously aliens on in the city and on planet Earth. And it's a really one I'd heard of for years, never got around to checking out, but was really interested in watching. And going into it, I didn't really know whether it was like a horror or a sci-fi. I didn't really know it was a sci-fi movie, to be honest. I kind of heard it. I heard little bits of it, but I didn't know the full story of the movie. Boy, it's a really good film. I would say it's a movie that is, the pace of it's a very slow movie. I think it is a slow movie to begin with, but I feel like it's a slow movie that's worthy of the watch. I think if you give it the time, It is a really good watch, a really good film. I really like the story. I think Piper's really good in it in this film. I've not seen any other Piper movies, him featuring as a actor, but he's really good in this. He doesn't really say all that much, but he does have one awesome line. Basically, he goes into a bank after he's got these sunglasses on. Goes into a bank and he can see like the aliens in the, obviously there's aliens and humans in our society here. And he goes into this bank and the line he has is, I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and I'm all out of bubblegum. And then he just starts shooting up in this bank. And I just think that was just a line just clicked with me straight away. I thought, that is such a cool line. What an awesome line. But yeah, he's awesome in this. He's a really, I mean, I'd be interested to watch some more of him in other movies now. There was a movie, something about something like a Frogtown or something. It was on the Gaming Off the Grid channel. They had a monthly recap yesterday on their show, and I was watching that, and they mentioned this something Frogtown, Escape from Frogtown, or something like that. And Piper's in that. It's meant to be a very low budget movie, but that's meant to be one that's quite funny to watch. So that's maybe another one I'll have to check out. But let me know if you have any Piper movie recommendations. But it's really good. I think as well, it's the premise of it as well. You got this in basically trying to destroy the aliens, but then you see also when he puts the glasses on, you can see that there's aliens, but you can also see like advertising boards that advertise things like holidays. He puts on the glasses and they just reveal to say obey. And again, this is where the manipulation of the aliens is to us as humans. And it's kind of, it works on two levels. There's this sci-fi movie, but also this movie against like consumerism in a way. And it's, for a movie in the 80s, it feels like it's very, looking now, it feels like, all these advertising boards and everything, they are kind of like just like, we should put the sunglasses on and it would probably reveal it just says obey or something like that, buy this product. It's a really smart movie. I really a hidden gem as well. Really is a hidden gem of a movie. That's They Live, well worth checking out if you've not seen it before. Let's move on to the next choice. Next choice stars Dave Bautista, or Batista he was known in the wrestling ring, in Guardians of the Galaxy, released in 2014, the Marvel space adventure movie. Wow, this is a fantastic film. I can't believe it's 2014 as well. It's 6 years, 8 years old now. That is wild. That is absolutely wild. Is my math right? Yeah, 8 years. I remember watching this in the cinema, and I was super excited beforehand because the trailers were amazing. But I remember when the cast was first announced, and I didn't really know any of the cast members. Maybe Zoe Saldana, and obviously they announced like Rocket Raccoon, the voice. Maybe I think it was Bradley Cooper. But like I thought it was dead weird that they were getting Batista, this guy from the wrestling ring, and he was going to star in this Marvel movie. And I was thinking, is it really like a Marvel movie? Is it going to be like a proper movie? Is it going to be like an animated movie? And then, obviously the trailer is released and it is revealed to be a live action thing. And it was just something completely new, new, fresh. We had Iron Man, we had Captain America, we had Thor, and it was just this completely new story, a story set in space. It had a different vibe as well. It had more humor into it. James Gunn, he just nailed the comedy in this movie, but balanced it really well with some really emotional scenes as well. But I really like this movie, and I think Dave Bautista as Drax in this is great. I think that he has some great, he's kind of like this stoic, like ultimate warrior. He's just like this, like really like hard warrior who's just like so determined to destroy the people who killed his family. But he has these really relieving moments, of these comedy moments where I think he's just, his lines and his delivery is just spot on. It's 10 out of 10, and he's great in this. And he's been in a few movies since, Dave Bautista, and obviously they're working on the third one now, which I'm really looking forward to seeing. It'd be interesting to see where the Guardians franchise goes after the third one. Will it be new cast members coming in, or will this be the end of Guardians of the Galaxy as a whole? I hope they do more of them because I like the franchise, and I hope they keep the the same cast and think just add to it, add more cast members like they did in the second one. And that would be my hope for the future of the Guardians of the Galaxy franchise. But let's move on to the third choice of today's show. My third choice is a 2019 release, and it is the spin-off of the Fast and the Furious movies, and it is called Hobbs and Shaw, starring Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, the People's Champion, and Jason Statham. It also features another wrestler, and a wrestler who is featured on this WrestleMania card, the cousin of The Rock, Roman Reigns, who is taking on Brock Lesnar in that card, on that match. What can I say? I'll be honest, this is like muscle memory because I've not watched this recently, but when I watched this is a buddy cop movie, Hobbs and Shaw. I think when I heard about this spin-off, I kind of like, I didn't know what to expect because I really like the Fast and Furious movies. I thought Fast 5 was awesome when The Rock joined the franchise, and it was just a breath of fresh air, that Fast 5 movie. It was one of my favourite movies. Honestly, I think it's brilliant. But then they did a few more, and there was obviously a bit of a falling out apparently between Vin Diesel and The Rock. They go and do this spin-off movie then, and it's Jason Statham's character was also the villain in the Fast franchise, and The Rock and his character Hobbs and Shaw, they had a fight in one of the Fast movies before this one. And then you see them having to come together, and like Statham's character Shaw is like this ex MI6 guy, and The Rock's character of Hobbs is this CIA guy. And they're coming together to take on this super soldier to try and get this virus under control. And it's basically Idris Elba plays Brixton, this character who is like a super soldier. He's basically Captain America. He's got the same abilities as Captain America in this. It goes into this weird world of like, it feels like superheroes, superpowered individuals. It's just over the top. It's really unrealistic, the things that happen in this, but it's fun. It's just all out entertainment. There's a few nice casting surprises in there as well. I won't spoil it if you've never watched that movie, but I really enjoyed it. I hope they do more of it. Right, look, it was a £200 million budget, this movie Hobbs and Shaw, and it made $760 million. So $200 million budget, 760 it made at the box office. It made big money. Apparently the sequel is in the works at this moment in time, so I think it's going to be one where we do definitely get a sequel to this. As a guy who enjoys movies like Lethal Weapon, a big Lethal Weapon fan, I get like Lethal Weapon vibes from this. I really enjoy it. I think it was a really good movie, and I think Statham and The Rock together on screen are a really good combination. I think they work well as a duo. They kind of like two guys who don't get on well with each other, but they come together in the end to take on the bad guy, and I really like that. And it was really just a fun movie. I think if you like the Fast and Furious movies, if you like action movies like Lethal Weapon, you will like Hobbs and Shaw. Next up is my final movie choice for today's show. The final choice goes to The Suicide Squad, the second Suicide Squad movie starring John Cena as Peacemaker. John Cena, you can't see me. The Five Knuckle Shuffle. He is. First of all, I really enjoyed this movie. Come out 2021. This was movie released, directed by James Gunn of the Guardians of the Galaxy movies. Fantastic movie. I thought the first one was good, but this is just really tops it. I think I've enjoyed this more so since watching the Peacemaker TV show. After watching that, I went back to this movie a few times and I've enjoyed it a lot more. John Cena's great. I think he's just, the guy's a tank. His arms are massive. His arm is like the same size as my body, my whole body. It's ginormous, his arms. He was born to be an action star. He really was. I can't think Arnold Schwarzenegger was born to be an action star. John Cena is also, The Rock is in the same mold, and John Cena is exactly the same. They're just built to be, and they've got the charisma as well. That's what's so important. He's got charisma, and it's a great cast all around, but I think John Cena is such a cool character in this, and check out Suicide Squad. Also, check out the Peacemaker TV show. It's coming to Sky Max over here in the UK soon. It's obviously been on HBO Max. I've watched it already. Great show. I really enjoyed his character in that. But yeah, Suicide Squad is a great film. One of my favourite scenes, I've mentioned this before, is when they go into the guerrilla camp of all like the ones who are against the government there, and they're trying to rescue Rick Flag, but because they think he's being like held hostage, but they're friendly people to him, and they just go in there and they just kill all the camp, and then the leader of the camp's just like, "Where's all my men? How did you get past them?" And they're just like, "Yeah, we killed them all." That is an awesome scene. I think it's well shot, that scene, and it's just really funny as well. But yeah, that is my final choice for today's show on the movie side of things. Let's move on with the rest of the show. So now we move on to movies for the weekend. This is the part of the show where I give you some movie recommendations for this weekend. I've got two choices here. First choice is The Time Machine remake, starring Guy Pearce, Samantha Mumba, and Jeremy Irons. This was one where I was looking through the notes of the remakes in my collection the other day, and I was like, I can't believe I didn't mention this, because this is probably one of my favourite remakes of all time. I think this is a fantastic film, The Time Machine. If you like science fiction, check out this. It is a great movie. If I do another remakes video, this is going to be definitely in it for sure. But well worth checking out. That's my first recommendation for this weekend. Another thing I want to mention is I'm going to mention something. I'm going to mention Moon Knight later on, but I'm going to mention this now because I feel like some of the stuff in Moon Knight reminded me of what is in this movie, The Butterfly Effect, starring Ashton Kutcher and Amy Smart. Really good movie. Again, if you like science fiction, it's a really weird film, this, but I really enjoy this movie where he has blackouts and then he goes back in time through his blackouts, his journaled all these blackouts. It's a really weird movie, like a time travel movie as well. Great film to watch. Really weird one, though. Beware. Let's move on anyway with the next segment of today's show, and we now move on to the Amazon Top 10. Each and every week on the show, we go through the latest Amazon Top 10 for physical media sales of DVDs, Blu-rays, and 4Ks in the movie section of Amazon. And let's go for what's on the movie Top 10, the Amazon Top 10 for this week. We start at number 10, we have Dune, the Blu-ray release of Dune. At number 10, at number 9, we have the DVD of Dune. At number 8, we have Matrix Resurrections on DVD. At number 7, we have the Blu-ray of Matrix Resurrections. At number 6, it is the 4K of Spider-Man No Way Home. At number 5, it is West Side Story, the DVD release. At number 4, it is No Time to Die, the DVD of that. At number 3, it is Disney's Encanto, at number 3. At number 2, it is Spider-Man No Way Home, the DVD release. And at number 1, it is the Spider-Man No Way Home Blu-ray release. Still at the top of the Amazon Top 10 is Spider-Man. Let's move on to the next segment of today's show. The next segment is Movie Variant Showdown. This week on Movie Variant Showdown, first of all, Movie Variant Showdown, what is it? Each and every week on Movie Variant Showdown, I go through basically a different variation of a movie character, a movie poster, and each and every week, explore something new. And I thought this week with the upcoming release of Sonic 2, the movie Sonic 2, I thought it'd be cool to look at the movie poster for the Sonic 2. There's been numerous posters, but they've released a poster this past week that is very similar. Well, it's basically a carbon copy of the Sonic 2 Mega Drive Genesis game. So it's going to be the movie poster for Sonic 2 versus the Mega Drive slash Genesis video game, because they are very similar. I thought, this is what Movie Variant Showdown is. It's taking two things of one property and clashing them together to work out which is the best. And that is what's going to happen today. So, obviously, first of all, let's go to the original, the Mega Drive Genesis cover for Sonic the Hedgehog 2. And you have the 2 in the background. You have Eggman, Dr. Robotnik, and Sonic and Tails at the front. Great cover. Such a really, a unique and iconic cover, and they have now remade that for the Sonic 2 poster. So basically, let's go to the Sonic 2 poster, let's take a look at that. very much the same sort of thing. It's just a carbon copy. You've got Jim Carrey as Eggman in the background. You've got Sonic and Tails. They look awesome. I mean, what is the best though? The movie poster for Sonic 2 or the original video game poster? I gotta say, as much as I love that new movie poster, the video game for me, it's as a guy, I love the video games as a kid, so that I love the inspiration behind that, and I think it is equally as awesome. But for me, the video game still wins through on this week. So movie variant showdown for this week: the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 Battle of the Poster versus the original video game artwork. The video game artwork wins through for me. So that is the movie variant showdown for this week over and done with. Let's move on to the next segment of today's show. And the next part of the show is titled What's Been on the Screen. This is part of the show where I discuss what I've been watching this past week. First, I'm going to start off with Halo, the Halo TV show. This has Steven Spielberg attached as a producer, an executive producer on this. It's been a show that has been rumoured for years. It is obviously an adaptation of the hugely popular Halo video game series. I must say, I'm not like a big fan of the series. I've not really played it, in all honesty, that much. I remember playing a bit of the first game as a kid around a friend's house, but I really didn't. Not a game I would play heavily. I'm not really into first-person shooters, so I can't really comment on the characters in the show versus the game. Going into it as fresh eyes, as a guy who likes sci-fi, I thought it was really fun. It's not the best thing I've ever watched. I could kind of put it in a bracket of it's a very similar show to, it's got like vibes of like a Mandalorian come like a Firefly, that sort of show. It's like this, it come like Starship Troopers as well. I was kind of getting Starship Troopers vibes in there as well. And basically, you get this story of this guy, Master Chief, who's this, they call him a Spartan, and he's just like basically a superior human. He's got like super abilities, this cool mech suit, and they're taking on aliens on this planet. And I really enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I like the voice of Master Chief. It kind of reminded me, it's very, similar vibe to like a Mandalorian, the voice behind the mask. And then we see, I don't want to really spoil it too much. We see something happen at the end, and I've seen a bit of like a dislike to it at the end, what happens in the end to the character of Master Chief in this episode. I didn't really mind what happened. Let's go into spoilers. Let's go into spoiler territory. So spoilers for Halo in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So his mask is removed in the end, and you see his face. Apparently that doesn't happen in the games, and I think there's been a lot of dislike to that. I couldn't care less because I'm not a fan of the games. But I can understand why, if you were so invested in the games and he doesn't take his mask off, you would be disappointed. So I understand that. For me, though, it wasn't a big deal. But I really enjoyed it. I think, again, it's not like the best show of all time, but I think it's a watchable science fiction show, and I will definitely be watching the next episode after this to see what happens. Looking forward to that. Next, I want to talk about one other TV show, the debut of Moon Knight. Moon Knight debuted this week, the new Marvel Cinematic Universe TV show on Disney+. We have Oscar Isaac starring as Moon Knight, and he stars as several different characters. Steve Grant we see in this episode, and Mark Spector. I imagine more personalities of this character will come to the light in this series. But basically, he's a guy who doesn't really know what is reality, doesn't know what his dream, if his dreams are real or if he's actually in real life. And then we see him become this superhero character called Moon Knight. And I really enjoyed it. I think it was very different, and it kind of, again, reminded me of the butterfly effect in certain points. And I'm going to go for spoilers here because I want to really discuss some things in it. So spoilers for Moon Knight in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So spoilers ahead for Moon Knight episode 1. We see in the end he becomes Moon Knight. That suit was fantastic, and obviously seen that in the trailers already, that particular scene. We see him blacking out, and then that's obviously where Mark Spector takes over from Steve Grant, them scenes reminded me of Butterfly Effect, and I can imagine maybe we get to see where he blacked out and then Mark Spector come into them scenes in maybe an episode 2 or an episode 3 at some point later down the show. But I thought it was really good. It was a very different show than I expected, really. I kind of expected more of a Legion show, and it didn't feel quite as much like that. It had certain points, maybe the different personalities and stuff. Kind of more like the character of Jane on Doom Patrol, if anything. Character reminded me of anyone, but I really enjoyed it. It was fun. It was action packed. I think that the character played by Ethan Hawke, the Arthur Harrow character, this cult leader, is really an interesting character. And his, interactions with Oscar Isaac's character of Steve Grant was really interesting to watch. And, this first episode was about this. They were after this item called the Scarab. It's like this gold sort of like a pendant. And he's after this, and then at the end he sets off one of these ancient dogs off on Steve Grant, and that's when he becomes Moon Knight after Mark Spector. He looks in the mirror and he's like, let me take over and let me become Moon Knight to help protect us. And he lets him take over his body. I'm really looking forward to seeing more from this character of Arthur Harrow as well, and to see his interactions throughout the show. It's only 6 episodes, so it's going to be, I think every episode is just going to be, all in. It's going to be great. I'm really looking forward to seeing what's next in episode 2. I think it's a good first episode, and it's again, this is where I think Marvel are doing really good stuff now, because they are giving each and every show, movie, definitely on the show side of things, they're giving us something really fresh and new, and I really enjoy that. I really like that. It's exciting, and I hope we see. I would really like to see Moon Knight in the movies. From what I'm seeing here so far, obviously it's only early days. The other 5 episodes might be duds. I don't think they will be, but it's after watching this one, I'm like, let's throw him in a movie. I want to see this guy in an Avengers movie at some point, because he looks awesome. He looks awesome. His character's cool, and I can't wait to see what other of the personalities he has, these multiple personalities, come to fruition with this. I don't know how many he's going to have. Maybe it's just going to be the 2 personalities in this first season. But I think it's a really cool concept of a show. So I really enjoyed that. I think it was a really good TV. I mean, it was a TV session this week. It was just TV shows all week. I watched a few movies as well, but I've got a few reviews coming up on the moviecheerpodcast.com, the website. But anyway, that is it for another show. If you enjoyed today's show, please do give it a like and check out the rest of my movie-related content as well. If you're watching the video version of this, please, as I said, give the video a like. If you listen to this on your podcast app of your choice, please do leave a 5-star review, and all reviews will be read out, all the 5-star reviews anyway. It's been a great show. I've really enjoyed today's show, doing the WrestleMania 38 movie special, discuss some wrestler-featured movies as well. And all I can say is this: let me know your thoughts. What are your favourite movies featuring wrestlers, pro wrestlers? Give me your thoughts. Give me also your thoughts, if you're a wrestling fan, your thoughts on the WrestleMania 38 card. Are you looking forward to it? What matches are you most looking forward to? I know this show today probably wasn't for everyone if you're not a wrestling fan, but that's why I've thrown in, obviously, the choices of movies as well, because it's a movie podcast all around. It was just, I like doing these special episodes. I think they're fun to do. But that is it anyway. I will see you all in 2 weeks' time. As I said, in 2 weeks, I'm going to take that 2-week break now. I hope you all have a fun 2 weeks, whatever you may be doing. I hope you have a fun weekend as well. Whatever you're doing this weekend, if you're watching the wrestling, if you're not, just have a great weekend. That's all I've got to say. Have a fantastic weekend. Let me know all your thoughts on today's episode anyway. Thank you very much for watching, ladies and gents. Remember to spread a bit of movie cheer, and as always, I will see you next time.